I'd be ready to go whenever, yes.
Yeah, so if the restreamer is ready, we can just throw it over to Hades.
Alright, so hello, this is Hades. Hades is a roguelike
This is Hades.
about Greek
Hades is a
mythology.
roguelike
Um,
about Greek mythology.
and this is a 50 heat run.
and
Hades
this is a 50
Hades'
heat run.
difficulty is a bit unusual in the
Hades'
sense that you can pick what difficulty settings you want to enable.
Right? Difficulty settings you want to enable.
Each of these has multiple tiers, and each of these tiers gives some amount of
each of these tiers gives some amount of so-called
here.
heat. You can see the heat number over
50
here.
heat, as the name implies, means beating a run with 50 heat or more.
It means beating a run
this
with
run
50
will
heat
be
or more.
utilizing a speedrunning mod pack.
This run will
for
be utilizing
safety.
a speedrunning mod pack
and I will be using the Zeus aspect for the shield.
And I will be
the game
using
has 6 weapons,
Zeus
and each of these
the
has
the
4
game
different
has 6 weapons,
variants,
and each of these
which are called
has 4
aspects.
different variants, which are called aspects. Zeus shield is widely considered the safest aspect for high heat. You will see me do this a lot. The shield can block, it can attack, it can dash strike, and it can throw out its special. The Zeus shield specifically, that's its gimmick. Oh, oops. That's weird. Okay, fine, I'll turn it up. Is that any better? That's odd. A PC game should be working just fine. Like, it's a bit quiet, but... Oh, that's wild. What? Nothing bad. Anyway, yes. I have a so-called stubborn defiance, which means I get to regenerate to 30% of my max health every single chamber if I die. This is why you will see me lose all of my health at the end of chambers sometimes. That being said, I will now show a death to prove the run is unseated, and then we'll get going. Quick reset is a mod pack specific feature too, should mention. And time starts the moment I hit the ground at the start of the run. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big special, lovely. This is the aspect of Zeus. Zeus uses a Zeus special. I should mention there are 8 gods in the game. Each of them has these so-called boons. They are power-ups for the rest of the run. 4 of these are called core boons. That is to say, the attack, the special, the cast, the dash, and there's also a call that I can activate using by pressing a button, which gives me a few iframes and sometimes some damage, depending on the call I use. The idea behind Zeus is to the Zeus build is to pick up the Zeus special and then as many other Zeus boons as possible. So if I see a Zeus boon, chances are I'm taking it. What I got just now was the Divine Dash boon by Athena. It keeps me safe. By returning enemies' attacks against themselves. It is one of the most popular high heat boons, as it works on nearly everything. Insert Divine Dash copy pasta here. I'm sure someone in chat will do me the favor of sending that. We are coming up to a Daedalus hammer. Each run, one can get 2 of these so-called hammer upgrades. which which in some way change the weapon, change how the weapon or aspect works. In this case, the mod pack forced me the explosive return hammer, which, as you'll see shortly, creates an AoE around me whenever I catch my special. As to say, whenever the special AoE stops existing, because I picked it up. Hades High Heat is most well known for 64 heat, that is to say the maximum heat possible, which has been beaten 3 times, 2 of which was on this aspect. And using this exact build path too. Each of the 4 biomes has mini-bosses. These mini-bosses contain special enemies, which in the case of one of my settings are made a bit more difficult. Middle management, each mini-boss contains +1 armored foe. Coming up to Athena here, I would like to show off a fun little trick with Stubborn Defiance. If you lose Stubborn Defiance and then pick up one or two specific Athena boons, you can have not just Stubborn Defiance, but also regular Death Defiances that do not regenerate on top of the Stubborn Defiance. So as you can see, I got Deathless Stand. Stubborn Defiance makes you impervious longer, replenish 1 use. Because I have 1 free slot here, because I used my Stubborn Defiance, I can click this, and now I have filled the slot with a refill. And from next chamber onwards, I'll also have the Stubborn Defiance on top of this. And yes, the Death Defiances get used from right to left, meaning the Stubborn Defiance will get used first. And I've effectively doubled my safety. You may have realized that I did not roll an Artemis boon earlier, even though it is presumably not one of the boons I need, and that is because one of the heat settings requires me to sell a boon at the end of every region. I will therefore pick up selling fodder along the way. Trials, but this is a trial chamber, that is to say, you get offered 2 gods boons and you have to pick one of them, and the other one will get angered and also attack you. These are generally considered slow and risky to take, but because I have a fair amount of time, I only need 1 minute remaining leaving the first region, Tartarus, to be on pace to win. So I will take this for some extra good build. Zeus, I would like Static Discharge or Double Strike from. I got perfect. Oh, both of these are incredible. I will click the Epic Static Discharge. These green AoEs you're seeing on the floor are by Artemis because I angered her just now. Thankfully, she'll also give me a boon when combat ends. Sure, support fire. We are about to enter the final boss fight of the first region, which can be one of 3 bosses. Can be Megara, the one I got, can be Alecto, or Tisiphone, the 2 other Fury sisters. Now, because this is a high heat run, the 2 other Fury sisters will also be joining Megara and unleashing their own few attacks. That's an Electo attack, for example, the saw blade you're seeing on the floor. Oops. Thankfully, because Zeus is a very safe aspect, I can make it through there without too much trouble. And move on to Asphodel, the second region, with 1:15 left on the clock. I get 5 minutes per region, and this does stack, meaning I now have 6 minutes and 15 seconds for Asphodel. I will switch my so-called keepsake, which is a temporary buff that I can use for part of the run. I will switch to the Skull Earring, which is Megara's keepsake. It gives me 40% extra additive damage when I'm at or below 35% of my health. Because I have Stubborn Defiance, which heals me to 30%, this will nearly always be active unless I pick up some extra max health. I should say some extra health. Now, I do not heal because of one of the other settings called Lasting Consequences. Meaning that the only way for me to go beyond 35 health is by picking up these Centaur Hearts. Or I suppose Darkness. Some weapon aspects can heal in some ways, but Zeus is not one of those. Asphodel, the enemies here are sort of annoying. They like to jump around a lot. I'll try to bring it up again if I get a particularly bad chamber in that regard, but for now everything went fine. Everything is going fine. Asphodel is the shortest region of the 4. I should say there are 4 regions in Hades, and you have to traverse each of them. Collecting my first Hermes boon of the run. Hermes is a particularly strong god, but he mostly has support boons. I am mostly looking for 2 of these, 2 particular ones. And I did not get the first, and I'm not going to be greedy. I need to save my rerolls to get a better build later on. The boon I would have been looking for is called Hyper Sprint, and it doubles my movement speed for some short duration whenever I dash. This can then be comboed with the other Hermes boon called Rush Delivery, which adds damage depending on how much extra movement speed I have. Because I have double movement speed, I would also get a lot of extra damage out of it. In this case, I will click Greater Evasion. Should be good enough. Should be strong enough. Artemis, sure. We have now met Thanatos. Thanatos, the god of peaceful death in Greek mythology. He challenges us to beat him in a 1v1, basically. And my objective is to kill more enemies than him. If I do so properly, then he gives me a Centaur Heart for 25 max health. Given how strong my build is currently, I don't think that's going to be much of a problem, is it? Losing Stubborn Defiance. Perfect. I will now wait in relative proximity of him, hoping for him to deploy his heart and leave. This is mostly an IGT optimization. Does nothing for RTA. Technically suboptimal for RTA, but I just wanted to show this off. As you can see, he deployed his heart and he leaves. He does not do that if you're too far away. Sure, Aphrodite. Entering Asphodel's mini-boss, or one of them, the Witch's Circle. Shoutouts to that Meg summon setup. I get 5 summons per run. Each of these deals damage in some line, or this one in particular does, I should say. You will see me use that against some mini-bosses and some of the boss fights. I can only use one of these summons per chamber at most. So even if I have two summons remaining upon entering the final boss fight, I will only be able to use one of those. It sometimes happens that I forget to use summons in places where I honestly should, but I'll bring that up again if it happens. These enemies are would be particularly nasty on an aspect that isn't Zeus shield. However, I am playing Zeus, therefore I can just do the regular shield combo of special, then start a bull rush, and then recall special in the middle of my bull rush to stay completely safe. I get full iframes while bull rushing and partial iframes while blocking before a bull rush, so I think you can imagine the sheer possibilities in terms of stuff you can get away with that no other aspect could. Entering the second boss fight of the game, the Bone Hydra with 4 minutes remaining. Pretty good. I am hoping to leave this boss fight with 3 minutes left on the clock. There is, this boss comes along in multiple flavors as well, just like the different Furies in Tartarus. The Bone Hydra, or Lerny as we call it, can have different head colors. In this case, I got a green central head and orange, and I think pink secondary heads. I might not have seen that correctly, but there is one head combination which we refer to as trans Lerny, which is blue heads and pink heads. Just thought that would be relevant to this event. Entering Elysium here, I'm going to switch to the Evergreen Acorn. It will keep me safe on the next boss fight. Let me take 5 hits for free. As good game design should be, the bosses increase in difficulty the further you get into a run. So getting on the Acorn right about now seems kind of comfy. An alternative would have been using the Lucky Tooth, which adds an extra Death Defiance at the end of my at the end of the queue. However, since Defiances get used right to left, this would mean that I also have to lose the Athena Death Defiance first to get value out of the Lucky Tooth, which I preferably would not want to happen. Sure. Aphrodite. Hoping to get an attack from her. Anyway, we have entered Elysium. The enemies in this region are generally considered to be the least fair. There is so much happening on screen half of the time in some particularly bad chambers. Thankfully, we've seen none of those yet. Many of these enemies drop eyes when they die, and these eyes, or one real eye and multiple fakes. Because of one of my other settings called Benefits Package, which adds perks to some armored enemies. One of those perks is an Elysium creating extra copies of eyes whenever an Elysium warrior dies. The mod pack signals to me that there is a fountain chamber this way. Indeed, this is what appears. Fountain chambers are chambers that do not contain any enemies, and just give me the reward for free. Sure, let's take this other Athena. See if I can get the other Defiance refill boon. This is one of Elysium's mini-bosses. This is forced by the speedrunning mod pack. The other mini-boss this biome has, which is Asterius, the Minotaur. I forgot to lose Stubborn Defiance, oops. Asterius is significantly slower and also much scarier than this. There is a chance to get my favorite boon, therefore I will click this. It's suboptimal. I don't care, it's funny. We have entered a Chaos Gate. Chaos is a so-called primordial, as to say the thing that was before all else. Chaos offers the player different trades, right? A temporary downside for a future permanent upside. In this case, I'm not looking for anything in particular, I'm just taking the Chaos Gate to skip a room. There are no enemies in this room, meaning I lose less time taking it. I will avoid this because this messes with my ability to make choices, reduces agency, which is not good. Abyssal Grasp does effectively nothing because traps already close to one-shot me. Because of heightened security, all traps in magma deal plus 400% bonus damage. And Addled Lunge is sort of mediocre too, so I will take Abyssal Grasp. We have now met the couple. They're both together. Say it with me, gay. Patroclus is the Elysium NPC. He gives us an item which makes me heal 50% more from Stubborn Defiance. Instead of healing to 30% with every Stubborn Defiance, I now heal to 80% for the rest of the run. I don't think I need to even bring up why that's powerful. Sure, it doesn't pair well with the Skull Earring that I equipped earlier, but I'm not using that one anymore. I don't benefit from the effect of it anyway. Ah, this is one of those chaotic chambers I was referring to. This one's actually pretty good still. But there was a lot happening on screen there. I had to adjust my blocking angle for a moment. Heartbreak Strike. Weakness will make me take less damage from enemies that are afflicted by it. Yeah, okay, this might be a bit more chaotic. Still not bad, but a bit chaotic. These things run and explode on you, but they will also die from touching any other obstacle, such as a wall. Okay, yeah, wait, this is actually a really good chamber, though. Hyper Sprint, well, little too late. I will take it though. It is still still solid damage resistance. This is the final chamber of Elysium. I will take the free reward next to the second shop. Each region has 2 shops, and the second shop, if it has a reward next to it, that reward will always be free, like that. This is Heroes. You don't have the context behind this, probably, but... Theseus is smug, and he hates the main player character's guts for seemingly no reason. It is, for speed purposes, fastest to hunt Theseus down first. However, it's significantly safer to focus on the bull instead. I will do a little bit of both, taking turns damaging Asterius and Theseus, since I do sort of want to go fast. This is a speedrunning marathon after all. I will use my summon here, hitting both, finishing off Theseus' first phase, and he will now summon an Olympian that I have not yet seen this run, Dionysus. Fun fact, if you already have all possible gods in your god pool, that is to say, if you've already seen all of them, he will summon Artemis, regardless of whether you actually have her. In this case, Dionysus was among the gods I had not seen yet, therefore he could pick Dionysus, and that's what ended up happening. I will sell Support Fire. Don't particularly need it. I would have preferred selling Dying Lament, for example, which is a boon I picked up earlier specifically to sell. But whatever. I can take Price of Midas here. I have Stubborn Defiance and Touch of Styx Dark, meaning I don't actually lose health effectively. I still have an entire health bar after this, and a real Death Defiance. I'll keep the Evergreen Acorn. This will help me against the final boss of the run, which, as I mentioned earlier, the fourth one's the most difficult. Yes, that is the plan. I am, in fact, going to look for Styx Hermes here. Welcome to Styx. A region notorious without quality of life mods. Also nice Styx Hermes. Because this region can arbitrarily extend the duration you have to run in a non-modded run. I am playing with the mod pack, meaning I am guaranteed a certain bag I'm supposed to collect for the dog over here, Cerberus, after the second tunnel, instead of randomly between the second and the fifth tunnel I pick. I will start by picking a mini-boss tunnel, as these are not just easier, but also shorter. Mini-boss rewards are also buffed in some ways, compared to their regular tunnel counterparts. But that is not the real reason I am taking a mini-boss. It really is just because it's, first of all, faster, and second of all, safer. I will need to lose Stubborn Defiance before the fourth room of this tunnel, because these tunnels are between 3 and 4 small rooms long, followed by one big room. The big room is the difference in big rooms is the reason why non-mini-boss rooms in Styx are considered significantly slower and scarier than mini-boss rooms. We got the Giant Father. I'll use my Mech Summon here. I could right back into it, however, because middle management is enabled, a second mini-boss spawns. This is the Giant Vermin, which we also like to call Anthony, in reference to another Styx mini-boss, the Tiny Vermin, which we nicknamed Tony because of a typo one guy made one time, and it stuck. I now have sufficient money to buy the Styx Hermes. The mini-boss Obol reward gave me 200. I can re-roll this for Rush Delivery. Sure, I'll try.
No thanks.
Unfortunately, did not get it, rip. Greatest Reflex is still fine, so let me move back faster. Now, because this is with a run with the mod pack, the second tunnel I take is guaranteed to give me the is guaranteed to let me finish the run and enter the final boss fight. I will therefore take a non-mini boss tunnel. If this were unmodded, I would probably have taken the pomegranate, the thing on the second mini boss door, to make me lose less time in the event I don't get the sack after the second tunnel. There's nothing I would like to buy here. Preferably looking for an Athena call here, another really good high heat boon. It's a panic button. In the event I am about to take damage, you can just press that and be fine for a second and a half. Nothing of use here. I could sell Life Affirmation because I don't think there are any hearts left to get. Sure, I'll do that. I can now afford something from the shop. Roll this once for a call. Okay. I don't need that. I will take Holy Shield. Parting Shot does not benefit my build in any way, therefore it is genuinely better for me to not take it. I will click Artemis here, looking for a call. Perfect. Perfection. And we're now entering the final boss fight of the run. EM4, Extreme Measures for Hades. Who would have guessed Hades is the final boss of the run, and I have to beat all of his phases to win.
Oh, hi, Father. I had other pressing business to attend to, but I cannot let you leave.
This being the more difficult version of an existing boss fight, there are, in the event you've played the game but never played Extreme Measures, there are some different patterns. One of these is a spear throw, which deals 100 damage to my face, and is therefore very important that I don't get hit by that. But everything else also deals a bunch of damage because of one of the heat settings that are enabled. Hades summons in mini-bosses that I may have met across the run. In this case, he summoned a Skull Crusher, which appears in one of the Asphodel mini-bosses, which I did not get. The call is now full. I can, whenever he reappears and whenever I want to use it, I will do so when he next phases, which will unleash a volley of arrows onto him. Terrible a second summon. I am terrified. I missed my Meg summon. Well done, me. Very nice performance. You tried. Thankfully, I should still be fine. Yeah. The moment you face him, all summons currently alive disappear. If they didn't, this would be even harder. The second summon I got there, which was double Soul Catcher, is without beyond a shadow of a doubt the worst summon in the whole game. If you get that on a run where you don't have a very good build, you simply die, or you at the very least lose all damage resistance that you've ever picked up in the form of Acorn or whatever. I will... Wait, why did I do it just now? Bad news. Anyway, he will attempt to heal now. I can destroy the green pots, which also one-shot me, by the way, to prevent him healing. This is the Cerberus attack. He will unleash this at any point between half health and 1/3 of his health, or 1/4, I forget how much it is. But anyway, these AoEs all deal 100 damage to me, and I therefore absolutely do not want to get rid of them, and I pause buffered to avoid all of them reliably, dashing if necessary. Oops. First acorn charge lost. Thankfully I'm playing a shield, therefore I don't actually care what attacks he's currently doing, I can just block them. They made this weapon a bit too strong, I think. Entering phase number 3, which is exclusive to this boss fight. Missed opportunity for me to bait out the time. Whatever, I forgot. He reduces the line of sight a lot, meaning I have to play vision. Know where he is at all times. It's an information game. But his patterns are very consistent, meaning frequently, whenever I see the start of the attack, I know what's coming next for the next few seconds. In this case, I know lasers is happening. Pause buffer, where is he? He's lasering. I heard the audio cue. Calling now. He is nearly dead. Time ends the moment he loses all health. And kneels down. GG.
I failed you again. How?
That is the first marathon run I've got to do. Done. Now let's quickly go over the build again. I started with the Zeus Shield. Zeus Shield, I started the Zeus Special, then took Static Discharge, then got Divine Dash into a Defiance, and tried to get Hyper Sprint Rush Delivery, but didn't actually end up getting Rush Delivery. And Artemis Call supplied a bunch of damage in the Hades fight, and this made me a bit safer. Oh yeah, and also Explosive Return helped with my damage output a lot in regular rooms. Unfortunately, I did not get Athena's Legendary, which is why I originally clicked Brilliant Riposte. Brilliant Riposte would have open Athena's Legendary called Divine Protection, which is my favorite boon in the entire game. That being said, let's now do some loyalty cards, since that was the incentive. Loyalty card is an RTA category. Also nice, that's technically my 50 heat modded PB for Zeus Shield. I'm mostly an unmodded player, so that PB wasn't particularly good, but anyway. This is... Let's quickly switch up the mirror. Instead of Shadow Presence, Fiery Presence, Ruthless Reflex gets changed to Greater. Actually, no, I wanted to try this out. Let's do some testing in production, shall we? Instead of Thick Skin, High Confidence, this increases my damage output. Stygian Soul, yep. Let's now switch to a different aspect that is not the one I had previously used. The aspect of Hestia Rail. I'll need to switch my controls around a bit. Special. On keyboard and mouse, the way I play, there is a bug that makes me... if I disable attack at cursor, it gives me the same auto-aim capabilities as controller would on some of the weapons. One of these being the gun. Hestia Rail is an aspect that performs particularly well in the first two biomes of the game. And as it happens, the boss I'm going to fight is in the secret boss I'm going to fight is in the first biome, meaning using this aspect with this thing that gives me extra damage when I don't have a build together to give me a build together. As you would guess, helps significantly. I am going to disable all of this, that maybe that, forced overtime. Oh yeah, I should also disable hell mode. One moment. None of these matter. 7, yeah, okay, this looks right. I think, yeah. Making sure. Yeah, everything's good. Once again, time starts the moment I gain control at the start of a run after hitting the ground. Let's go. Cluster bomb, interesting. I forgot I was using this with the mod pack. I'm going to skip a room here already. Specifically, I'm looking to find the mid shop of Tartarus as early as I can. Terrible room. Oops. I'm thinking Hazard Bomb would have actually been optimal for this. Oh, whatever. Too late now. Terrible room once again. This is approximately where I would reset an attempt at Loyalty Card. As this is a very short category, and so even marginal time loss can be particularly impactful. Anyway, Hestia Rail. I forgot to mention, this is an aspect where you reload a bunch. This being a gun, you can reload it. And the first shot of each clip is empowered. If I manually reload. And it deals 150 damage whenever an empowered shot is used. This is then buffed by the Shattered Shackle, which buffs that damage to 300 per shot, and then also additionally buffed by the Mirror of Night in a few ways. Fiery Presence and High Confidence. I did not get an early mid-shop. Wow, this is bad. I'm going to use the Mech Summon on this mini-boss. This is especially dead right about now. My unmodded PB finishes approximately now. Oh yes, as Igloo Kid brought up, there are two versions of this category. Outside of modded and unmodded, there is also seeded loyalty card, which is one of the most unique categories of this game, which actually utilizes a bug. Also, it would appear that I got scammed out of my mid shop. I love to see that. We have to reset this. I'm sorry. This is why the estimate is 5 minutes and not 2 of them. Getting scammed out of mid shop is actually a particularly rare occurrence. This is like a 1 in 100. It has happened before, but this is about as close as you'll get to me featuring something that hasn't happened to me yet after 3,500 hours of Hades. Perfect. I should have changed the hammer while I was at it. Oh, whatever. Oops. Oops. I'm going to avoid Erebus. Erebus encounters take particularly long and are risky because you lose your room reward in the event you take even a single point of damage. I have still not seen... Wait, no. Mid-shop can start appearing after at Chamber 6. Unfortunately, this is a 1 exit, meaning I cannot get Midshop after this. Midshop only appears on 2 exits. And I will also not take his Chaos Gate, even though it would skip a room, because because Midshops cannot appear after Chaos Gates. Fountain, this can give me shop, indeed it does. The mod pack forces the secret fight I'm supposed to fight. For sprints. Hello, Charon. Let's commit theft, shall we? Charon is particularly mad because the one thing he cares about is money. Now, we must now fight to the death. Oops. Also, I should have used more. Oops. Wrong summon. Whatever, too late now. As it happens, it's actually not to the death. And he gives me the loyalty card, and time ends the moment I pick it up, so now. I'm sorry for the 0-4 warning, but yes, that is a loyalty card run. Oops. My binds don't work. I rebound earlier. Oops. No. R... Cast back to here. There we go. And that, in terms of gameplay, would be all from me. I'm sorry about the about the loyalty card failed before. But yes, in terms of people I would like to thank, since that seems to be a tradition, there would be the entirety of the speedrunning community, obviously, and everyone else who's supported me in my Hades adventures over the years. The Hades community is a really nice place to learn to run. The Hades is not a particularly fair game, but the community makes up for it. As in not a particularly nice game, I mean not particularly nice to run in several ways. It has significant amount of RNG, but that's what the mod pack is for those who don't like that sort of stuff. I'm an unmodded player, I don't care. Anyway. If you could pass the... If whoever's taking care of the restream